Hey guys, my name is Chantel. Welcome back to my channel and thanks for hanging out with me today. So today we are going to talk about episode 8 of Sasaki and Miyano, which is the last part of volume 4, which after this I won't know anything going forward. So I'm excited to see where things go from here now because I'm going in blind from here. But man, oh man, was I looking forward to this episode so much. I know I said that every week, but there's just so many good moments from the manga that I've been waiting to see animated. And this episode, I can safely say the anime did it better than the manga. Oh my god, it was just amazing overall. So anyway, let's go ahead and start off with the first thing that I want to talk about, which is about Miyano having to stay up the night before reading his manga. And he seemed really into it because there was like this line that said his fingertips were cold because he was nervous. And Miyano, looks really tired. He has his hair up with a little clip so we can see his cute little forehead. And we get to see Sasaki. He bumps into Sasaki and he gets a little bit nervous. And Sasaki is like, oh my gosh, you look so cute with the clip, which is adorable. And he asks like, what was the deal with that? And Miyano explains like what happened. And Sasaki, being Sasaki, is like, oh, so can I kiss your forehead? And Miyano, I love that it takes him a minute to realize like what he said. He's just like, wait. And obviously Sasaki is like, I'm just joking, but I'm like, were you? Like, we all know you probably would, And his excuse was like, oh, well, people are gonna pass by. And it makes Miyano think, well, if people weren't gonna pass by and we were alone, would he actually do it? And I'm just like, oh, like Miyano is starting to think about a lot of these things, and it's interesting to hear him think about these things and hear like what he's thinking, because clearly like we're starting to see that Miyano's starting to see Sasaki in a different way, than more than just his senpai that he admires and think is cool. His feelings are starting to change and we see like that shift. Even though, yes, he's confused, he's still trying to figure out his feelings. We're starting to see like a little bit of a change here with Miyano's like actions and just his facial expressions. But as we go along with this scene, Sasaki does ask Miyano if he can put his hair down, just because, it feels weird not seeing him like how he normally sees him. And so as Miyano's putting his hair down, Sasaki helps him like fix his bangs, and oh, you guys, like I was squealing so hard, and just even thinking about it now just makes me smile so much. And Miyano realizes that Sasaki's hands are cold, and it makes him think about that line that he read in his BL manga, which then in turn makes him think of all the times that Sasaki has touched him, like patted his head and stuff like that. And he's like, wait, all these times his hands were cold. And I'm like, gosh, like I think that is so cute. Like I know Miyano says like he doesn't want like a BL thing, but when we see things like that, like he reads it from a BL and it actually happens to him, I just can't help but squeal. I'm just like, oh my gosh, like it's just so cute. Why are they so cute, you guys? Anyway, so moving on to the next thing that I want to talk about, which is when Miyano gets his fitting. So the chairman seems to be having a lot of fun helping Kurosawa and Miyano with the whole cross-dressing thing. And Miyano does take notice of this, and he's like, hey, you're having a lot of fun with this, more than I thought you would. And he mentions how, well, yeah, like this is my last cultural festival and I want to enjoy it. And I only have 6 more months until graduation, which then as he hears this, Miyano's expression changes a little bit. And I'm pretty sure as he changes, he's like realizing like, oh man, I only have a little bit of time left with Sasaki. Time is running out with their time together. And I'm sure it's got Miyano feeling some type of way. He probably feels a little sad that, time is short. Probably wishes that he could have more time with him and spend more, days like he has been. But, that's the reality. He only has 6 more months left until graduation. Which, funny enough, the chairman does notice the change in Miyano here. And he's like, so you actually did fall for someone, which makes Miyano really nervous. And he's like, no, which Miyano does end up asking the chairman, which I thought this one left such a big impression to me in the manga when I first read it. And, seeing how things turn out towards the end of this episode and in the manga for volume 4, I can see why this left a big impact with me. I feel like this is one of the really good moments, biggest moments I should say, between the chairman and Miyano, because the chairman is able to help realize and confirm Miyano's feelings and help him feel less confused about his feelings, and he's able to finally come up with a little bit of an answer. But yeah, like he just asked him like, what does it mean to like someone? And I love that the chairman is like, well, that just kind of depends and it varies from person to person. But he then goes on listing like wanting to do things for them, wanting to be around them, wanting to hold their hand, to touch them, kiss them, hold them, and wanting them for yourself. And I love as he's saying all these things, we get a brief little scene between Hirano and I believe it's Kakegura, which is Hirano's roommate, and I think it's so cute. I was not expecting that at all, to see that in this episode, and I think it was so cute because we see Kakegura as his face just lights up when he sees Hirano, and he's so happy to see him, and then Hirano's expression like I wish we got to see more of them in Sasaki and Miyano, but you know, it is called Sasaki and Miyano for a reason. The focus is on them. So maybe we'll get like an OVA in the future, or maybe we'll get an anime once there's more manga volumes of the spin-off, which is Hirano and Kakegura, about those two in the future, because let me tell you, the little bits and pieces that we do get to see in the Sasaki and Miyano manga of these two, like the bonus little stories, is so stinking cute, and I really do hope we get to see more of them in the future. Again, whether it be like just a little small snippet in the Sasaki and Miyano episodes, or you know, in the future we get an OVA, or like I said, an anime. Like, I feel like it would be great, but who knows? We'll see what happens. If not, then you know, I will hopefully get the manga, because right now it is sold out on CD Japan. And hopefully it gets licensed in English, because I am dying to read it for sure. Anyways, you guys, so this actually does make Miyano think about, you know, Sasaki and the way he thinks about him, especially wanting them to yourself. And Miyano starts to think, you know, wanting to do something for them, and he starts to think like, I wonder if me giving the lollipop to Sasaki counts, because he tries to excuse it as like, no, that was just like a senpai kohai thing, like there was nothing more to it. But Miyano also realizes that he's never really thought about it like that either, which makes Miyano even more confused, and he just doesn't know what to think of all this, which luckily the chairman, you know, comes in and like helps out Miyano out a little bit here. But before he does mention the last thing, he mentions how Miyano's hair is a little messy and asks him like, don't you want to cut it? I know you don't like to cut it because of like you want to hide your face and whatever. And I love that Miyano is like, oh no, it doesn't bother me anymore. And he was going to mention Sasaki, but he stopped himself and he comes up with something else. But the chairman noticed and he was like, so which this leads him to give Miyano that push that he needed, and I'm pretty sure he could see that this is what Miyano needed. So this is probably why he gave these reasons to Miyano, especially the last one, which is being in love is being unable to keep someone out of your mind. And this just sets everything in stone for Miyano. Miyano starts to think about how he's been thinking about Sasaki all day and how he hasn't been able to keep him off his mind. And we see like this image of a butterfly as he's thinking this. And I love this imagery because to me, when I see the butterfly, it just made me think of, you know, Miyano blooming into something else. Like he finally discovered himself. He is a new person. Like he realized his feelings. He's like, I don't know if I'm making any sense, but basically when we see the butterfly just there and it starts to spread its wings and fly off, I feel like that also represents Miyano, you know, finding out his feelings, figuring everything out, and being able to finally like fly off on his own and move forward and not feel confused and stuck anymore with his feelings. And with this and everything that happened, the chairman is like, what do you know? Because again, he figured out that there is definitely something going on with Sasaki and Miyano, and that Miyano definitely has feelings for Sasaki. Even though Miyano, again, he's been unsure this whole time. I feel like the chairman was trying to confirm it, like, in a way on his own without really pushing Miyano in the wrong direction and, like, you know, making it obvious. I don't know if that makes any sense, but he definitely made an impact on Miyano and definitely helped him go in the right direction. Especially, again, Miyano's been so confused, so I'm sure the chairman and everything that he said meant a lot to Miyano because he was able to figure things out and get that little push that he needed in order to finally move forward instead of being stuck in the state of, I'm confused, no, I don't think of him that way, he's just a senpai, I just think of him as a cool person, and little things like that, you know? His feelings have definitely grown and developed, and he's just discovering all this on his own, and he's no longer confused. Anyway, so moving on to the next thing that I want to talk about, which is the last fitting between Kurosawa and Miyano. So as we see them get their last fitting, Kurosawa does end up sending a picture to his girlfriend, and it's really cute. I love seeing Kurosawa and his girlfriend just interact. Like, they're just so cute, and I love seeing how much Kurosawa like loves his girlfriend. Like, Kurosawa's a really entertaining character. I love like how he's been teasing like his friends, like Tashiro and stuff like that. He's just an overall fun character, and I feel like he also realizes that there's something going on between Sasaki and Miyano, specifically with Sasaki, because when he was going to ask Miyano if he could take a picture of him to send to his girlfriend, he instantly thought about Sasaki. He was like, wait, I wouldn't like it if people took pictures of my girlfriend, so scratch that. To me, that just made me think like, oh, so he does know that Sasaki has like feelings towards Miyano. You know, I'm pretty sure he probably notices it, and it's just nice to see little things like that. That, you know, his friends seem to be a little bit of aware of the situation, but they're obviously not gonna push for answers. They just kind of let them be them, let them figure things out, and let them, you know, if they want to tell them that they're together or they have feelings for each other, then they will. So I love that. Like, all their friends are really supportive. As Miyano is getting his last fitting, everybody leaves him in the classroom while, you know, the chairman and Kurosawa do their own thing. Sasaki was looking for the chairman, which he then ends up seeing Miyano, and he ends up closing the door, which I was like, oh my gosh, like, oh man. And just the look that Sasaki has, I was like, oh damn. Because to me, when he closed it, I'm pretty sure, for one, he's aware of like how Miyano feels about looking feminine, and I'm sure he wants to protect Miyano. But two, I'm pretty sure he doesn't want anyone else seeing Miyano like this, which actually ends up getting Miyano really nervous, and he doesn't understand why he's feeling like really embarrassed and nervous about Sasaki seeing him like this. And I'm just like, oh, like, that just reminds me of, like, you know, when you have a crush on someone, when you like someone, there's some certain things that you're like, oh, I don't want them to see me like this, but when they see you like this, you can't help but feel like embarrassed and stuff like that. Which, funny enough, something happened similar to me back in middle school, not like with me, but like with my boyfriend at the time when I was in middle school. He was embarrassed to dance in front of me. Like, he didn't want to dance with his friends and be like silly, but that's also like one of the things I really loved about him. And once he was able to relax, like, he wasn't embarrassed. But yeah, it just kind of reminded me of that. Anyway, Sasaki ends up asking Miyano, like, are you cross-dressing in the competition? And he then says, like, did you just let your classmates pressure you into this? And he looks upset, and this catches Miyano by surprise, and he realizes, like, oh, like, the way that he talked to me sounded a lot like how he talks to Hirano and Osogara, which Sasaki instantly is like, oh my gosh, I am so sorry, that came out wrong, it sounded a little harsh and nasty, I'm really sorry about that, forget I even mentioned it or said anything. But Miyano doesn't take it that way. He just sees it as like, oh, like, he's just worried about me and he cares for me. And again, it just, like I said earlier, it's because he knows about Miyano's situation and how he doesn't look like looking feminine, so he's just being protective, and he wants to make sure like people people didn't pressure him into doing this because he knows how Miyano had been dealing with this for a long time. But Miyano noticing this and realizing like, oh, it's because he likes me that he cares so much about me, like about this whole situation. It makes Miyano's face like all blushy, and then Sasaki's face is priceless, you guys. Like, oh, it's so stinking cute. Like, they're just so cute. And this makes Sasaki asks Miyano, like, if I tell you not to compete in this, will you do it? And Miyano kind of starts thinking about it. He's just like, well, everyone's helped me like so far and have been really supportive throughout this whole thing. Like, what do I do? Like, he was like thinking about it because he doesn't want to make Sasaki upset either. And I'm just like, you guys are so cute. Like, they care so much for each other and about their feelings. It's just so stinking adorable, you guys. I love them so much. And Miyano was going to go ahead and ask everyone like what to do about it, because he's like, you know what, let me talk to everyone and see what they say about it. And instantly Sasaki grabs Miyano, and as he's like grabbing him, he's thinking about how much he loves Miyano, how he can't take it anymore, and how much he cares for him, and then embraces Miyano. And I'm just like, oh, you guys, the way that this whole scene was done was so beautifully done, so well done. The slow motion, and then just, oh my gosh, Sasaki going in for the hug and just like grabbing the sheet, like, oh my gosh, it's so cute. And then the visuals of like the flowers blooming and things like that, like I feel like that represents Miyano like finally getting that aha moment, like realizing his feelings for Sasaki. Because when this happens, like you can see like he's hesitating for a little bit to hug him back, but he does it. And then he's like, oh my god, I'm just now realizing. And it cuts off. But I'm pretty sure he's gonna say, like, I just realized that I like Sasaki. I just... so cute. I can't. Just thinking about that scene. Oh my gosh. Like, I had to replay it a couple times. And I just couldn't help but, like, get teary-eyed and just excited and, like, squealing over these two. Like, they're just so cute, you guys. Like, oh, I cannot. And this is actually how volume 4 leaves us hanging. And I remember when I saw this in the volume, I was so mad. I was like, what? Because volume 5 doesn't come out until April. So I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? But at least now with the anime, I'll find out like what's gonna happen next. And I'm just so excited to see where we're gonna go from here. Like, I am just beyond excited because again, I'm going in blind now. And I can't wait to see what happens next, you guys. I just can't stress that enough. But anyways, you guys, I hope you guys enjoyed hearing me geek out and talk about Sasaki and Miyano episode 8 this week. I hope you guys enjoyed hearing my ramblings, and I hope you guys are staying safe and healthy out there, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!